computer. All right, so we're going to start by talking about sleep. This is sleep, yoga, and meditation class. And we are, and it'll touch a little bit on some of the oils that we use for stress and things of that sort. Hold on real quick. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm just going to kind of go over the oils that you use for sleep, but I don't want to take too much time. What I use in my family for sleep, and we'll talk about just some of the oils real quick, because I don't want to get much time because there's lots of good information. But first of all, let me quickly, just this is the quick part. I can go over the yoga oils right here, the yoga oil collection. It comes in a little package, and what's in here is Align, Anchor, Align, and Arise. Those are the 3 oils that actually come in here. And so you can use these even if you're not into yoga. You could still use them if you need to be, because Anchor is a grounding blend. Align is an centering blend, and Arise an uplifting blend. So you could still use those for other reasons in your life. You don't necessarily have to use them for yoga, but they're great for yoga. Okay, the oils that we tend to use for sleep, the most used actually combination is the capsules of Serenity and the oil of Serenity. So putting this one in your diffuser or on your body, and then also taking these capsules, 1 to 2 before you go to bed. Okay, that's the combination together is what works the best when using Serenity. The other oils that I like to use in my diffuser, I like to use vetiver, and I like to use cedarwood and balance, but on really tough nights, I like to change cedarwood out with vetiver. And so I'll use that combination. And that's actually listed, I think, in your Live Guide. In your Live Guide, on the page that it talks about sleep, if you still have this guide, there's a whole page to sleep right there. And vetiver and wild orange is actually on there, and wild orange is great for racing thoughts, so that's really good. And then breathe oil, a lot of people like to use that for sleep because they have issues with their breathing. Oh, and On Guard, I forgot to talk about that one in the other class I had. On Guard oil as well to protect your immunity while you're sleeping. And it shows up here that you love lavender and Serenity, so that's cool. You can do that because there's lavender and Serenity is why I was like, some people like to use Peace. So there's just many, many different combinations, but those are my favorite by far. We'll talk a little bit about meditation, and basically I just want to encourage you to meditate. The oils that I like to use during meditation are frankincense, because it's the oil of truth. I like to also use sandalwood, because and what you do is you put it on your third eye, you smell it, and put it on your body is how you would use an oil to meditate. And so that's really awesome. I like to use sandalwood because I feel like I get to that place quicker when I use sandalwood. So those are my 2 favorite oils for meditation. But I also like to use balance sometimes. I also like to use rose, depending on how much love I need for myself. So if I'm not feeling that, or I forgot to talk about on Facebook, but I guess I could chat it in there, and to say that sometimes I like to use an oil based on a chakra. So a chakra point says there, I actually have a chart that tells you what oils to use for that chakra. And so you could actually look that up, I'm sure, online as well, where you can say, oh, for my crown chakra, what do I need? If you know that's a problem for you, whatever. I know some people are like, oh, my base chakra, I think is what it's called, is the last one. Is the worst one for me, or my personal power center, the one right underneath my ribs. So if you know that you have a chakra that tends to be blocked and causes you issues, you can also use an oil for that. So that's really cool. Okay, so moving on, we are going, and then talking about meditation so that I can get to the oils, or the thing online. One more thing about meditation is that give yourself some grace and give yourself some leeway. You only need to meditate about 15, 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. I suggest to do it first thing in the morning when you wake up. Now, lots of people think that you should meditate before you go to bed. You have too much on your mind. It's time for you to lay down and go to bed and reset your mind. Your mind has too much going on. Sometimes you try to meditate too close to bedtime and you've already gone through the entire day and you have lots of things on your mind. It's going to be more tricky for you to meditate. It can be. right? You might need to use more oils like wild orange or something to really calm those thoughts. But so it's just something to think about. I like to do it first thing in the morning, right when I wake up. Good 15 minutes if I can. Sometimes I only get 5 in. Sometimes I can't sit still enough for 5 minutes. I know that sounds horrible, huh? But it's true. And that's okay. Like, I give myself grace. And if you have thoughts that come through your mind, let them go. Like, I will deal with you later. Yes, I know I have laundry. Yes, I know I have dishes. Yes, I know. And I will deal with you later. Like, this is my time. This is my time for my peace and quiet inside of my brain, right? And so give yourself that time. It's the only time you can give yourself like true time by yourself. 5 minutes. Give yourself that at least, right? So and it's a practice, which means that you might do 2 minutes today and gradually go up to 3 and 4 and 5 and giving yourself love and grace on that, and just being like, okay. But it really is something that has been very beneficial in my life, and I would encourage you to try it with some oils. Put your favorite oil on and sit down with yourself and try to go 10 minutes, 5 minutes, it doesn't matter, but just at least start the process of sitting down with yourself. Okay, that's all I want to do is talk about meditation real quick, is about that, and just telling you don't be afraid of it. You cannot do it wrong. There's no such thing as doing it wrong. So don't sit there and try to judge yourself, because there's no judgment in meditation. It doesn't work. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go right in to, hold on real quick. I don't know why I have this up. There we go. There we go. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. And I was actually helping someone else wanted to know about digestive issues and detoxing. And I was showing her how to get there. But you're going to go to Our Advocates. You go down to Empowered Life. And there we go. You go down to Empowered Life, and then you scroll down until you see, where is it? Yoga and meditation. Oh, they do talk about yoga. That's good. Yoga and meditation. Oh, there isn't one for sleep. I should have gone to go over that a little bit more. So let me do that really quickly. Let me make sure there's not a sleep one. I thought I saw one, but I guess there isn't. Not yet, anyway. Okay, since most people are going to want to know about sleep, let's go ahead and let me show you a couple of things about sleep, because I was trying to be fast because I thought they had a video, but they don't. But that's okay. This is really important place to start. Also, don't forget to look in your book when it comes to sleep. And try, looking at the oils that you want. What kind of effect do you want? That's really important. If it's an emotional issue, I wanted to show you that. If it's an emotional issue, you need to take care of your emotions before you can get to sleep, right? But this right here in the pamphlet, this top section right here is what people use. Lavender Serenity and Serenity Soft Gels. Those are the main ones, and a diffuser. That's mainly what people use. But like I told you, I really love vetiver. And not everybody likes vetiver, but I like it a lot. It's very grounding. A lot of people love to use Balance. So if you're using this and you just don't feel like you're grounded enough, grab a grounding oil like Balance or vetiver or cedarwood or something like that and put it in there. But you can also add wild orange to these to calm your thoughts down. Sometimes that's a problem, right? But then it has emotional and stress support, because that a lot of times people can't sleep because they're stressed out. We're adults now. We got to do adult things, and sometimes that's not fun, right? So we got to do that, right? So we got to take care of your emotions. There's an emotional roller bottle set, which is fabulous. Everybody should have that in their home. And it talks about elevation, citrus bliss, and balance once again. And then these are the oils for the emotional set. These are the roller bottles, and those are the oils. Yes, you could use these and make your own roller bottles from there. I choose to use the roller bottles that are pre-made. And yeah, I like to make my own roller bottles if I'm making blends, but if doTERRA is going to make the roller bottle for me, I was just talking to my friend the other day. It's too easy. No mess. It's easy. All you do is buy it. And I need that. And you have those in your home, like 3 DigestZens for everybody. Everybody gets a DigestZen. No. So that's right. So that's how I want to, that's what I want to talk about sleep is if the oil that you're using right now is not the oil that is working well for you, add another oil or replace it with something else. There are lots and lots of great sleep oils. And as a matter of fact, in your book, if you go to sleep, well, it's go to stress too, right? There's a whole section for stress. But if you go to sleep, it even tells you, is this it? Yep. It even tells you like, well, what do you want? It's very specific oil. Look at all those oils that you can use for sleep. All of them. There's so many different choices. If you're looking for, let's see. You have fear of sleeping. Sometimes people don't want to go to sleep because they're going to have some crazy dreams. Well, then there's certain oils that you can use for that. If you're looking for jet lag, you can't sleep because you've been on a plane all week or all day, then use that. If it's because you suffer with melatonin issues, there's oils for that. If you suffer with excessive snoring or something like that, there's oils, nightmares, sweat, all of those things. There's oils that support all of those things. So just look it up and add a different oil to your regimen. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about sleep. And now let's go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so our advocates, you go to Empowered Life. Oh, I was already there. And then you go to yoga and meditation, and let's learn to see what the experts say. Nothing better than hearing about what the experts think and say. She's the one who designed the actual yoga collection.
Greetings.
So very cool. I like
Brower, and I am here from New York City, mother of one, Jonah, who's 10, and a teacher of yoga and meditation for the past 20 years. I'm so honored to be here today for you with the Empowered Life series, presenting on the energetics of essential oils and yoga. Before we begin, it's nice to consider how the presence of oils can enhance or amplify your practice of yoga and meditation. And I've created for myself a ritual that has helped to inform how I teach my classes and how I lead my team. So I'd like to share that with you today, along with some fine points on which oils I've chosen and why, and sort of create a context for you to generate a ritual of your own and cultivate a practice of your own with your oils and your yoga or meditation or both. Before I begin to practice, I always take a few minutes to clear my space and just move out of the way anything that might be distracting to me or take me off my mat. And that takes just a few minutes of my time. And then I begin by considering a few words that point to how I would like this day to go, and I call that my intention. And as I take a few moments to sit and listen here in my meditation space, I will wait for a few breaths until the word or sentence or words comes to me. Some days it doesn't come straight away, and I will actually open up a book that I have in my bookshelf and see if I can find something there. And always I find just the right thing almost instantly. On this particular day that I designed this presentation, which was quite recently, there were 4 words that came: stability, vitality, neutrality, and harmony. And I'll talk a little bit about each of these words just so it can kind of get solidified for you as it did for me. Stability for me is what my movement, my yoga practice does for me, my asana practice. And really, if you were to talk to the masters of yoga, the asana or posture practice is really meant to take you to the quote unquote real yoga, which is the seated meditation and the practice of going inside to oneself, to one's own heart. Vitality is what I feel every single time I move my body, every time I take a seat to meditate. That comes. And on this particular day, when I was creating this presentation, I was nervous to create it. And I needed these 4 words. Neutrality is an interesting one because it doesn't imply weakness at all. In fact, it implies a state of holding no tension in my system with anything. And so particularly on days when I'm feeling challenged or doubtful or afraid, neutrality is really good because it brings me back to a state of ease when I just think of the word. And as you'll see in a moment, now I have an oil to go with that sensation. And finally, harmony is what I feel in my heart and my mind whenever I sit and meditate. And I feel like there are a few oils that give us harmony, but there's one in particular that I really love and I can't wait to share with you. But first, once I have the word or words of intention written, and sometimes I'll write them on a little watercolor card or I'll write them in my journal, I'll say them out loud until I feel a resonance, a landing in my heart space. And I know this because my breath deepens, my whole body kind of softens, my heart slows down, and my eyes usually close. My mind seems a bit quieter as well. And I can't recommend this highly enough, but Laura Jacobs in her February talk on the Empowered Life series was epic in describing how the oils can help us partner with our emotions and help us to be more responsive and less reactive. And I found it very valuable to me and to my family as well. If I believe, as Laura explains, in my power to be stable and vital and neutral and harmonious, that is precisely what will happen throughout the day. Even when it seems like things are faltering, becoming more difficult or challenging, if I believe in my power to maintain this intention, these 4 words, they will stick around. The photograph that's featured here on this slide was a quote that really impacted me early on in my business. Real fearlessness is the product of tenderness. And I posted it over 2 years ago, I believe. And for many, many months at the beginning of my sort of taking on my leadership role in my organization, I diffused elevation and cypress together. Now, together, you may or may not know that elevation is not only stabilizing, but also brings joy. And I didn't know that at the time, and I wasn't a huge fan of the scent until I paired it with cypress, which is all about flow and movement in your heart and your mind. It's all about trust. It's all about letting go of what isn't needed. And so I used these 2 together to create that sensation in my space of flow, of releasing doubt, of elevating my mood, of stabilizing me, of learning how to trust. And it worked. And I've been using that blend for so long, and I love it so much. And I have to force myself to try other things because it's so impactful for me. Once I've chosen my word or words of intention, I will select an essential oil to pair with that intention. And on this particular day, my day of stability and vitality, neutrality and harmony, I chose Intune. The first moment that I hear the word harmony, that's the first oil I grab. And I've actually done a little slide for you on Intune because I find that many people don't actually know about this oil, and it's so important to me and to my family. I'll use it on my pulse points, my forearms, my temples, and it's great because it's a roller ball. So it's very easy to apply, and I keep it right near my desk at all times. And then sometimes I'll actually wait to fill the diffuser until after my yoga and meditation has ended so that I can sort of continue the resonance in the space throughout the day. So here's your Intune. It's my favorite. It is the focus blend. That's what it's known as, but it creates a sense of harmony, supports a sense of harmony, body and mind. The constituent oils, there are many, but sandalwood, frankincense, and lime contribute to a sense of overall well-being, while the benefits of patchouli, ylang-ylang, and Roman chamomile are super calming and soothing. I just can't say enough about this oil. It's become my scent. You can take a few moments here, and we'll do this together, to rub a few drops of I have my Intune right here, of your essential oil right into your hands. Pick any oil that you have nearby. Rub it into your hands, and then take your hands right to your face. Inhale all the way down into your lungs. And then as you exhale, gently release. And you can leave your hands there for a few breaths, or you can just place them down on your thighs if you wish. And we'll take a minute to breathe here together and allow the oil to reach into our cells. So as you breathe, inhaling in through your nostrils, and it can be silent or audible as you wish, but we'll move towards silence over the course of the next several breaths. Your eyes can be open or closed as you wish. And as you breathe here, continue to make your breath a little more quiet and see the breath traveling in through your nostrils up into the space just behind your eyes. And we'll take it a step further. As you breathe in through your nostrils up into that space, follow the breath as it gently then falls down and fills your belly. And then as you exhale, the breath getting bigger, bring your navel, your belly button towards your spine and invite the breath out through your nostrils once again. So again, you're inhaling in through your nostrils, down into your belly. And exhaling from your belly out through your nostrils. Continue there for about 5 more breaths. Just notice your breath getting more and more voluminous and luminous, quieter. And notice how it seems like your mind is getting more quiet. Last breath or 2, full breath from your nostrils down into your belly. And from your belly, navel back to spine, out through your nostrils, releasing. Good. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes gently. Very nice. How exactly does that work, after all? Of the 5 senses, smell is the only one that connects the outside world to the brain directly. And the effect is immediate, as you can see. When you inhale your oil, the molecules of the oil travel all the way back to the epithelial cells at the rear of your nasal cavity. And then they're introduced to the olfactory bulb, where they cross the blood-brain barrier to reach your limbic brain. And that's the seat of your emotions, your instinctive brain. That's the reactive brain. Those molecules, as they bring this new and very nourishing information into your brain, they help us to dissolve stress energy by connecting us to nature. And you all know how it feels to be walking in the forest or in the wood or near the water where the blues and greens are all over your eyes, and you feel like nothing can really bother you there. That's what these oils are bringing to us on a moment-to-moment basis. And it's so helpful to take our intention for lowering stress or boosting our immunity or helping our day along in some very positive way. Adding the oils to it brings nature to it. We are now learning how to, as Laura Jacobs says in her presentations, partner with our emotions. Using our oils, we get in front of our emotions. We take charge of our emotions and we begin to choose our responses rather than aimlessly offering reactivity in places where it shouldn't be. And especially when things get challenging or important, as you most likely know already, but now you can start to do it intentionally. Our oils support that responsiveness. Our intention does help our brain to stabilize in the direction of positivity, helps it move in the desired direction, and our yoga and meditation help our bodies to strengthen and open to that reality. Add to that our oils, which amplify and enhance the effects of both. The common denominator shared by all 3, our intention, our movement, our practice, and our oils, is that everything that we're talking about here in this presentation, everything is enhancing positive brain chemistry. And here in this slide, you have the tarot card that I pulled one day, the frankincense that I was obsessed with for the longest time at the very beginning of my business, and the intention that I set, I am home. I wanted so badly to feel at home as a leader and at home in my business, and this is how I worked with it. So just to clarify, before I start my practice, I'll have my little piece of paper with my intention on it. I might swipe or drop a couple of drops of my chosen essential oil onto that little piece of art with my intention on it, because that will help me remember it throughout the day. And if I haven't mentioned, I think I have, I like to use little watercolor paper, because the watercolor paper actually holds the oil really nicely. And then I can place that little piece of art near my computer or near my books where I'm working, near my mat where I'm studying. I can put it in my wallet and carry it with me and remind myself throughout my day. I love doing that. Tuck it away with a little crystal in my pocket. That's a really effective way to remind myself of my intention throughout the day as well, especially when things are hard. And throughout the day, I continue to remind myself of that intention, which positively impacts everyone who comes near me, as my son can attest to. When you reset your own limbic brain, everyone around you is able to do the same. It's called limbic resonance, and it's a very important phenomenon that happens amongst human beings and humans and animals, where, and you can think of it this way, have you ever seen someone walk into a room super positive and suddenly you felt better? You felt uplifted. We've all had a teacher like that, or a dear friend like that. You can even close your eyes for a moment and think of someone like that who just brings the love all the time. This is what we're looking for in our own beings. This is where the oils can help us. Now we've covered your intentions. Now we can bring our awareness to your movement. And this is a fun little exploration into your brain and how it works with your body. The movement center in your brain is called the primary motor cortex, which is connected to your adrenal glands. This is a very important fact here. Every time you move, when you exercise, whether it's yoga or cardio or preferably a combination of the two in some way, hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, which are produced when you're super stressed out, are kept to a minimum. And this is really interesting for all of us, because if we can keep those hormones and that production to a minimum, the body's immunity is boosted. Okay? The more those hormones are released into the bloodstream, the lower our immunity becomes, the easier it is for us to get sick, the more vulnerable and fragile the system becomes overall. And specifically, when you practice yoga, and this is why I have stuck to the practice for all these 20 some odd years, you are moving and working with the lymphatic system. Now, when you circulate lymph throughout your body, which is basically helping the body rid itself of toxicity and disease, anything that leads to sensations of inflammation or even stiffness, you are helping your immunity along. And even more specifically, you have lymph channels everywhere throughout your body. But you have these little filtering stations throughout the body known as lymph nodes. You have them in your throat. Most of us know about that. You have them under your arms, groin area, ankles, right around your ankle bone. And every time you move, you're actually stimulating these filtering stations to circulate lymph throughout your body. And the lymph carries what are called lymphocytes. Those are white blood cells, which help to destroy bacteria and move viruses out of your body. So the lymphatic system is actually relying on, and I've shown you a few pictures here of some of the postures that I do most often. The postures are relying on the way in which you're moving your muscles. The lymphatic system is relying on the way in which you move your muscles to wring out these nodes and move the lymph along so that you can have an optimized system, optimized specifically your immune system. Now, knowing this, we also learned that the contraction of the muscles around those filtering stations, around the lymph nodes, is what really does the trick. So a lot of yoga postures, these were designed thousands of years ago by masters who understood this, are all meant to help boost your immunity. During or after practice, I will most likely diffuse oils that are high in linalool, another learning from David Cahill. This is a chemical component that helps to relax smooth muscles in the body and also reduce both sad and anxious feelings. Some examples are petitgreen, lavender, clary sage, basil, cilantro, and coriander. Now, with the exception of lavender, All the rest of these oils were ones I really didn't gravitate towards. And when I learned this a couple of years ago, I began to experiment with all of them and combining basil and coriander with other oils, citrus oils, and lavender, combining clary sage with things like sandalwood and bergamot. All of this is helping to ease my state. The first state change happens very often when I just fill up the diffuser in the morning. And if I do it before my practice, it's an immediate response from my body, an immediate smile, not just from my face, but all over my body feels it. Now, ultimately, the choice is yours as to how you work with your oils in your practices to bring about your desired intention. And you can work with it for your day, your week, your month, or even a project or an action or an interaction. And I'll just give you a quick synopsis of the ritual that I do every day so that it's clear. First, select your intention and know what you're going to practice and choose your oil. Second, write your intention down and perhaps add your oil to that little piece of paper or your journal entry. Third, you can place a few drops of that oil between your hands and inhale. Take a few breaths like we did here together today. Such a sweet pause. Then you can read your intention aloud until it's true for you, until it lands in your heart space, until your eyes close and your body feels it is true. Then move to cultivate the currents of energy throughout your body. After which you can either diffuse during your practice or you can diffuse after your practice, which most often is what I do. And then you can carry or place your intention near you during your day, pocket, wallet, near your workspace. Mine's sitting right here, right now. Mine today is let good people close to you. Notice how it changes your state of being. Our team, lastly, in closing, encourages, as I mentioned, the use of keeping a journal of how you love your oils and how you use your oils. And more specifically, over the course of your work and your day, not just with your intention, but overall, it's really nice to keep a record of how the oils impact you, because that will be an invaluable tool, teaching tool for your classes and your presentations, your workshops, and so forth. These are basically called our self-care notebooks, and they're really valuable resources for ourselves personally and for our growing team. Finally, the discipline and joy of a daily practice delivers love to every one of your cells. And with a practice, you may find that there is a new sense of ease and feeling at home in your body. This is my wish for all of us. And as it becomes consistent, my prayer is that you find the busyness of your mind resting, coming to a nice, complete rest in your knowing heart. I wish you all the success in your yoga, in your meditation, using your oils with both. Sending you so much love and gratitude. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay, that was awesome. And made me think more about maybe I should incorporate some yoga with my kids, man, all the immunity stuff. So, all right. So this is Ruth Goff.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ruth Goff, and it is such an honor to be here today. I'm a yoga therapist, a certified yoga teacher. Through Yoga Alliance, I'm a continuing education provider, and I'm an aromatherapist. And I am so excited to explore the beautiful union between yoga and aromatherapy and the way that doTERRA products can really help to enhance our lives and bring union. So yoga itself, the word means union or yoking. The whole goal of yoga is to help with our mind, body, and spirit connection, to bring together and unite things that, especially this day and age, can feel very disconnected. So today we're going to explore this mind, body, spirit connection and how the use of essential oils and the other products from doTERRA can help us to really enhance the connection in our lives. Because at our core, we all have a desire to feel whole and well. Wholeness and wellness is the natural state of our body and mind. And yoga is a wonderful journey to help us in this process. In fact, it was BKS Iyengar, one of the modern prophets or gurus of yoga, that taught that yoga is the journey of the self, to the self, through the self. And I cannot tell you how much utilizing your essential oils will help so much in this mind, body, spirit connection. We're going to talk about 3 things today. The first thing that we're going to talk about is pranayama, or the breath of yoga, the breath of life. You know, our breath is the very first gift that we're given when we enter this life. And it's the last gift that we give back as we walk into the next life. And so recognizing ways to really utilize this gift and to use it as a tool to help us, not just when we're on our mat practicing yoga, but in every aspect of our life, can make such a difference. And I'm excited to talk about that. The second thing that we're going to talk about is the physical practice of yoga, or the asanas. Now, we need to prepare ourselves to be able to really use our bodies well by making sure that we arrive to our mat or arrive to our practice in prime physical condition. We can do this no matter where we are right now on our physical journey by making sure that we have proper nutrition and giving our bodies all the tools that we need. But also, once we arrive at our mat, we can use a variety of different essential oils to really help us dig deeper and move deeper and really open up in a physical sense once on our mats. And so I'm very excited to talk about that. And then the third thing that we're going to touch on briefly, and you're going to hear a lot about from Heather Matter, is really the entire purpose of the breath work, the pranayama, or the asanas, the physical postures. And that is, they were all created to help us to be able to sit with ourselves. Meditation is kind of the highest form of yoga. And so that's the third thing that we're going to touch on. So let's talk about the breath, pranayama. First, why is it that it's so important for us to breathe? I can't tell you how many students I have coming into my studio who simply don't know how to breathe. Every single day, you take between 22 and 24,000 breaths. And yet so often, we don't take any time to notice or appreciate this breath, much less utilize it for the powerful tool that it can be in unlocking potential in our body and mind. So the first thing that I like to do when I'm getting ready for a good yoga practice is to find an oil to really open up my airways, to get me in a good headspace and heart space to enjoy my practice. So if it's morning time and I'm going to be practicing and I'm seeking for something to wake me up energetically or lift my vibration, I might use a drop of lemon oil on my hands. And I just like to rub that on my hands. I love to cup and inhale the beautiful aromas and allow that to just lift my spirits, to lift my vibration. I love saying, as I offer lemon oil or cheer oil or any of these delicious uplifting oils or blends to my students, how their faces light up, their eyes light up as you see them breathe deeply and really appreciate that beautiful life-giving breath. So the next thing that I love to do is make sure that whatever space I'm practicing in, there's a diffuser going. And again, you want to begin with the end in mind when you're determining what it is that you want to have in that diffuser. If it's an energizing morning practice you're going for, you probably don't want to put lavender in your diffuser, right? But in the evening, whenever I'm practicing or teaching like a candlelight vinyasa class, my very favorite blend is to have 2 to 3 drops of balance and 2 to 3 drops of serenity oil combined. You diffuse that throughout your yoga space or your yoga studio, and you will find a deep, relaxing state of yoga and meditation. And most importantly, you're just going to want to breathe deep all of the time. I have to remind myself and my students far less to breathe, to really breathe when we are diffusing essential oils in our space. One other thing that I really like to do to support the breath is place 1 drop of our beautiful respiratory blend Breathe right in the front of my mat. I place that right on the earth and allow the earth to kind of diffuse that for me. And so every time I move close to the earth, whether through chaturanga or vinyasa or whatever, I get a big, huge breath of those beautiful respiratory supportive and opening aromas that just energize my practice, help to really keep me present and aware, but remind me every time I sense that aroma to breathe a little bit deeper. The breath is something that will take you through every piece and portion of your life. And it's one thing that I notice that if I practice with intention in my yoga, I can practice more effectively with intention in my life. So for example, there are times in your yoga practice when you find yourself reaching an edge, that place where anything more is going to be too much, but anything less is not enough. A place where you really have to breathe deep and come back to your breath to stay in that moment and really ask yourself, can I soften around this? Yeah, now that's a nice way of putting it. Other people, some of my students might say that the edge is that place where you feel like you're just about to give in or give up. You can feel yourself coming close to a place where, yes, you're experiencing growth, but you can also experience some exhaustion. Learning to breathe into that moment is incredibly powerful. And so before I transition to the portion of my practice where I know I'm really going to be pushing myself, one little tip or trick that I'd like to enjoy is to place whatever my favorite oil at the moment is right here on my heart, on my chest, right underneath my nose, so that I have a strong desire to continue to really breathe deep, to really breathe it all in. And I always say that on our mats, we're really just in training for life. And so take this exercise off your mat into areas or portions of your life where you experience stress, physical stress, emotional stress, mental stress, whether it be in a relationship or at work or in other places. Having trained yourself when under stress to close your mouth, come to your breath, and just see how long things last is an absolutely essential tool in experiencing freedom of your mind and your body. The wonderful effect of this breathing technique is also that if you're in stress or in conflict with another person, by closing your mouth and forcing yourself to breathe, guess what happens? You don't say anything you don't mean. So you always want to make sure that you have these uplifting aromas around you, reminding you to breathe, inviting you to breathe, and helping you to breathe and really utilize this gift that, again, we've been given from the very beginning of our life in all of life's situations. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the physical practice of yoga. And especially here in the United States, most people, when they think of the word yoga, think of the physical practice of yoga, the poses or the postures. Now, how can utilizing doTERRA's products help you to really maximize your effectiveness on the mat? Or even there might be some of you out there thinking, gosh, I've never been on a yoga mat. I'm not sure that I can get on a mat. One of my favorite things that people say to me is, I don't do yoga, or I can't do yoga because I can't even touch my toes. And what my teacher taught me was that yoga isn't about touching your toes. It's about what you learn on the way down. And so let's talk about some ways to get you on your mat so that you can learn all these lessons as you maximize your physical potential. The first thing that you need to do is make sure that your body is ready to go. You need to energize it. You need to give it really powerful nutrition, and you need to help it to heal. You want to give your body the tools that it needs to have energy, to be able to move, and also to be able to move past physical limitations that you might have had. So, for example, lifelong vitality is an absolutely essential part of my daily yoga practice. Before I do anything in my day, I get ready to brush my teeth, and I also take my lifelong vitality. Before I go to bed at night, I brush my teeth and I take my lifelong vitality. This basic nutritional supplement is fantastic at helping support healthy inflammatory response in my body and also promote all kinds of energy and vitality in my life. Because it's a whole food-based nutritional supplement, I find that I have so much energy. And unlike a lot of other supplements on the market that are marketed for a similar effect, I find that with the Tummy Tamer blend and everything being natural, I don't experience stomach upset or anything else. A lot of my yoga friends also appreciate that doTERRA now has a 100% vegan lifelong vitality alternative. And the thing that separates this from any of the other vegan supplements on the market is that doTERRA specifically formulates lifelong vitality to reach 100% of our daily nutritional needs based on our average diet. Many of those who choose to not consume animal products for whatever reason have very specific nutritional needs, and you'll find that 100% of those are going to be addressed through your Lifelong Vitality Pack. So as a yogi, as an active individual, I find it to be absolutely essential to my active lifestyle. I like to add to that Terrazyme. And let me give you a little tip here. My friend Dave Eaton, another doTERRA leader who runs a CrossFit gym, told me a while ago that in a natural replacement for a pre-workout is a shot of Terra Greens and one Terrazyme. He said this gave him more energy and helped him to focus on the task at hand more than anything else. And so I've started for the last couple of weeks before my morning practice taking a shot of Terra Greens and one Terrazyme. And I have never experienced more energy, real pure enjoyment than I have with that tip. So thanks, Dave, for that. But also, you'll find that there are other supplements like Deep Blue Polyphenol that have helped many individuals who weren't able to practice the physical postures of yoga because of aches or pains or previous issues that their body needed a little assistance moving past. The Deep Blue Polyphenol blend is specifically designed to support your body's, again, healthy inflammatory response, but specifically to help the body be able to move in the way that our creator designed it to. And so that is an absolutely essential part of many yogis' practice. So once we've got good, proper nutrition going into our bodies, we might also want a little energy boost. And if I'm going to be practicing in the evening, but want to be able to really do some good work on my mat, I might take 1 or 2 Mito to Max before I start practicing to really support my body's ability to have high energy throughout my practice. But then once I get onto my mat, there's a variety of different essential oils that I love to utilize. Marjoram is one essential oil. It's an oil of connection. It's an oil of softening. It's an oil of opening. And I love to use it and apply it to different parts of my body that I might be focusing on in my yoga practice. So for example, if I'm going to be working on my shoulders or my hips, I would apply a little bit of marjoram topically there. And I find that I feel a lot more supported and open in those areas, but I also feel a greater connection mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically in whatever I'm doing as I apply this beautiful oil. Another blend that I really highly recommend to all yogis is the Deep Blue blend. And this is a blend that anyone doing any activity can really appreciate. But as a yogi, I appreciate Deep Blue because what I can do is if I have an area of my body that I'm really going to be working on or wanting to move into, I can apply it to that area of my body. And then when I'm practicing on my mat, I notice that that area of my body tends to get warmer quicker, that I'm able to move a little bit further than I might have been able to all on my own, that I'm able to hold postures for longer. But more importantly, I notice that I recover a lot quicker when I've applied that beautiful blend before I practice. Another oil that I really highly recommend in preparing you for your physical practice is Balance. Now, this seems like a no-brainer. Balance, of course, is our grounding blend, and yoga is all about balance and being grounded. Before I practice yoga, I always apply balance oil to the bottoms of my feet. I then rub my hands together and take a big, deep breath. But on days when I feel really disconnected or like I need a little bit more support feeling grounded, I might also apply a little bit over my heart and just take some time to be prepared for my physical practice. When I do this, I notice that my mind focuses more on what I'm able to do, and my body is really able to expand its possibilities. I'm able to actually balance better. I'm able to feel more into my body, and I'm really able to focus on my intention on coming to my mat, which is, again, that mind, body, spirit union or yoking or yoga. So the third thing I want to talk about today is, again, the reason why the asanas or yogic postures and pranayama, yogic breath, were developed in the first place. Breathing and postures were developed to prepare the body to be able to sit. And what does it mean to sit? Why is it so important? I mean, it boggles the minds of many of us today. We live in a go, go, go world. We're constantly connected via our phones. We're texting. We're on the phone. We're on the internet. We're watching TV. We're in a state of constant disconnection. And this, in a lot of people that I've seen, and certainly I've experienced myself, can lower our vibration. Now, what does that mean, vibration? This is a word or a term that to some people seems a little bit out there. Some people call it energy. Some people call it spirit. But whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about. Taking every opportunity that we have to be still, mind and body, to allow ourselves to be quiet, and to truly savor the effects of our physical practice is something that will bless every single one of our lives. My teacher, Patanjali Joy, used to say that everyone should take at least 1 hour a day in quiet contemplation or meditation. Unless you don't have time, he would say. And then you should take 2. You see, yoga doesn't take time, it gives us time. It allows us to be present and aware. And the third way that we can really enhance our mind, body, and physical connection is learning to sit with things as they are, to be truly present, and to really show up for ourselves so that as we finish, we can then show up for everyone else. Now, I'm going to tell you a little ritual that since I've started has just shifted my energy, shifted my life, and really, really blessed me. I don't know about you, but I'm just not really a morning person. I'm more of a night owl. And so mornings used to be difficult for me. Mornings are the time that I would typically do my yoga practice, but I would kind of roll out of bed, have a low vibration, really just not feel excited about what was ahead of me in the day. But I've noticed that since I've started rolling out of bed and straight onto my knees, taking some time for gratitude and reflection and prayer, and then applying Balance Essential Oil to my feet and taking a few moments in quiet meditation, everything in my life has started to align. I felt so much more abundance and prosperity moving towards me, and I've noticed how negativity just seems to be almost bounced right off of me. So again, what does Balance Essential Oil do for us? This is my favorite blend, and I apply it to my feet before I meditate because it helps to bring balance not just to your body, but also to your mind. It helps you to be present, to be right there, to be all in. So I apply this to the bottoms of my feet, and within just a few moments, it seems, you can start to feel this oil unlocking some potential. So I always say that when I pray, I talk to the divine, and when I take time for meditation, I listen. So as you start your meditation, maybe balance oil isn't the best grounding oil for you. Other oils like arbor vitae, frankincense, cedarwood, and others have been used traditionally for years and years, some of them for centuries. We're really grateful now as yoga therapists and aromatherapists to have diffusers to diffuse these beautiful aromas. Some people used to burn these aromas in their studios, but we found out that this is actually more harmful to the lungs than smoking. And so people no longer burn essences very, very often in studios. They diffuse them. And so diffusing is going to be something that's going to be very powerful while you meditate. And so find an oil that grounds you, that balances you, that helps you feel rooted. And as you press down, whatever you're doing, you can sit in a chair, you can sit on the ground. As you press down or root down into the earth, try to feel some connection. So you press down through your sacrum, you feel more connected to the earth through your sit bones. And then as you inhale, rise up into your spine. Feel the crown chakra, or the very tip top of your head, pulling high towards the heavens. Roll your shoulder blades back and together. Now, did you all just do that with me? I hope so. There's something powerful with rolling your shoulder blades back and together, opening your heart space, really taking your posture up a notch. And as you do this, here's the trick to meditate. You guys ready for this? Close your eyes. You close your eyes and all of the rest of your senses get stronger. You can smell those aromas more intensely. You can hear things around you more acutely. You can feel the air on your body. But then just start to notice your sensations. Notice the way that your body feels. Are there areas of comfort or discomfort? Don't attach them, just notice them. Finally, once you've noticed the sensations of your body, start to notice the sensations of your breath. And you can do this at any point during your practice, but especially when you're taking the time to sit. Feel the way the breath moves your body. Notice how maybe your shoulders rise and fall, your diaphragm expands and contracts. And as you do so, just be aware of what is. Notice, do I have a long breath or a short breath today? Is my breath warm or cool? Do I feel more of my breath from one nostril or the other? And without any judgment or any need to change anything, just notice what is. This is called Anapana, or breath awareness. And this is bringing you into full connection or awareness with the present moment. And so try it with me for a moment. Just close your eyes. It's kind of scary. It takes a really brave person to be willing to do this. It makes us feel more vulnerable, but it also makes us more strong. And as your eyes are closed, see if you can start to lengthen your breath and notice your breath, to become present through your breath. Smell the aromas around you. Be grateful. If you got some of these aromatherapy tools that we've talked about and you're smelling them right now, be grateful for these healing essences. And as you continue to breathe, notice how your body starts to interact with your breath. How does it work together? What do you notice? What do you feel? And then after a few more breaths, you might invite your mind to that place right below your nose and right above your upper lip, where if you're paying close attention, you'll feel the sensations of your body's respiration. So you might feel the air as it enters and leaves your body right there on your upper lip. Can you feel that? Now this is the point where we'll invite our mind to rest. And as you start connecting your mind to this place, it might only be a few moments before you experience distraction. And that's okay. Again, no negativity, no judgment. But with persistent and consistent effort over time, you'll notice that as you come to your breath, focus in on this space. Really use these essential oils and aromas to bring you present, to ground you, and allow you to be all in. Soon, the space between your thoughts, between distraction, will expand. And in this space, something magical exists. It's that yoking. that union that almost transcends time and space, that ability to be right there. And I will give you one caveat. When we start this physical, spiritual practice of yoga through breathing, through physical postures, and through meditation, sometimes people move away from the sensations. They don't want to feel. They don't want to feel present. Because for some of us, underneath all of the facade, underneath the face, there's just a vulnerable human being who sometimes doesn't always feel amazing or great. You'll notice this as you meditate, the way that you speak to yourself, the things that you think about yourself. Those things will tend to come up to the surface. But I encourage you to just become aware, because awareness is the key to change. When you start to hear the way that you think about yourself or you talk to yourself, you can start to change that. You can say, the way I speak to myself or those thoughts I think about myself, that's not true. That's not real. And you'll learn to be kinder. You'll learn to be gentler. If you are one who's really experiencing some discomfort of mind when you're moving into these sensations, I highly recommend the use of our emotional aromatherapy line. In fact, I can't recommend the emotional aromatherapy touch line any higher than it's just miraculous. The things that I've seen and experienced myself with this line since it's been launched has been incredible. And so keep these things close, because sometimes you might notice that you could use a little forgiveness. You could use a little consolation. You could use a little passion or motivation as you learn to see yourself for who you really are, which is a being of light and truth and goodness. As we clear away all of these blocks, all of these lies that we've been told or that we've told ourselves from so long, as the layers start to move back, something wondrous will start to emerge. But it takes work, persistent and consistent work, coming back to your breath, coming back to your mat, and choosing to be present again and again and again. But the fruits of this labor are incredible. They're priceless. The entire purpose of our creation is learning to be right here, right now, to experience both good and evil, and then to choose the good, to dwell in the good, to give out the good. Now, at the end of each practice, there's a traditional Sanskrit saying that we like to share or offer. It says, Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. And translated, this means a wish. May all beings everywhere be happy. May all beings everywhere experience freedom. It is my wish, my greatest desire for each and every one of you to experience the freedom and the happiness that is your birthright. We do this best as we come back to this practice again and again and again, and enhance it and enhance our whole lives with the wonderful products that doTERRA has to offer us. As we conclude our practice, we typically say the word namaste. And while many people think that this is a benediction or a closing, really the word namaste is an invocation. Translated, it means that the light, the love, the divine, the goodness in me will see and honor. I promise to look for that same light and love and goodness and divinity in you and in every other person that I encounter. And so, my friends, let's go forth now, looking for the good, experiencing the great, and seeking for the freedom and happiness of all. Namaste.
And to keep this class at an hour, I'm just going to go ahead and stop now, because you guys know how to get to this. But I just wanted to first, there's quite a few left. Okay, I just wanted to see who they were. So we'll just play the first part of the videos just to see what they're, this one's only 5 minutes. So, and to see how long they are. So if you want to come back here, you can kind of check them out on your own. But
hi everyone, my name is Sarah Jansen and I live in Rincon, Puerto Rico. I have spent many years blogging about how to create a life you love and also how to create a soothing living space. For about 10 years off and on, my family has traveled in an RV around the US and we have 3 kiddos. So you can imagine in a small space like that, it's really important to create a calm living space. And
okay, so that's cool. So she's going to talk about that. Let's see what she's going to talk about. Hers is 10 minutes. So it'd be 15 minutes of your time to come back and take a look at this. Hold on, buddy.
Hi, my name is Rachel Jones. I am passionate about health and wellness. I am here today to share with you how to integrate essential oils into your personal yoga practice and create a space that you will love to do yoga in at home.
Okay, so she's going to teach you that. That's awesome. And let's see what the last person is going to talk about. But she's going to talk about meditation. Hers is 22 minutes.
Hi, I'm Heather Matter, and today I'm going to talk to you about meditation and essential oils. Both meditation and essential.
So there you go. So there's the meditation essential oils, the last one. Otherwise, you have about 15 minutes of the other yoga stuff left. And so remember that you just go to doTERRA.com. You go to Our Advocates right here. Let me move this over so I can see. Our Advocates. And then you go down to Empowered Life. And then you can choose what you want to watch. Hold on. What you want to watch after that. So remember, Empowered Life is all about living with oils. Empowered Success is all about the business of essential oils and helping you with your business. And so this is such a great resource, especially if you're wanting to teach classes of your own. You don't have to know everything. You can just guide people to show them where it is, show them how to use their books. We don't expect anybody to know everything, but just helping people understand where to go is a big picture. Teaching people about Daily Drop, the app that they can use. Teaching them that there's multiple ways that you can find out about essential oils right here on the doTERRA website. So thank you for coming to the class tonight and sharing your time with me. And go ahead and shoot on over there and take a look at those. So if you missed any of the other classes, a lot of that information is there. Really quickly, before we go, let me show you one more time. When you log in and you go to the Empowered Life, you get to choose from all of these things. The one this month is Healthy Hearts. So let me find out when that is. I think is a registration for this one. February 12th and 13th. You register. Hold on, James. You register for these times, 2 p.m., 6 p.m. on Monday or Tuesday, 10, 12, and 8. So you can and just click register there. They'll send you an email to remind you so that you remembered that. So that's all heart healthy. And then there's daily wellness, holiday hacks, love your skin, immune and respiratory health, back to school, digestive health, detoxing. Guys, for men right there. That's awesome. Green, clean, yoga meditation is what we did. Mothers and babies is a class that I did. Women's health is a great one. Lots of women want to know about that. Mood and essential health. I may or may not play that when I do my essential or emotional health because it's already a class of its own, but you can always play those in your classes if you want to teach somebody about emotional health. Fitness and weight management, immune and respiratory health, and then cellular vitality and energy. doTERRA supports us with all this wonderful training that it's super easy for us just to show our friends and family if they're interested in certain things. Very easy to do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Sorry I went over a little bit. You guys have a great night, and meet me again next week, Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye.